And you can see, Steve, this coming up Sunday, if you join us as we support Healing Warriors in Fort Collins. We'll be talking more about that as we replay an interview that we did with Janet, who is one of the, she's a marketing manager there at Healing Warriors. Dear friend of mine, really good friend of mine. Healing Warriors, you can see the little bucket behind me right over my shoulder here. Love our relationships with them. Love supporting them, love trying to do anything that we can. Our first interview today is an interview that I just did. We just got it recorded, and he's a gentleman who has recently joined the team, and we are so glad to have him with us. For those of you who are out there who have Macs, Justin focuses on Mac products and the life, the security, everything about them. And so if you have a Mac computer and you need to make sure that they are safe and secure and working right, Justin Egger is going to be there, and he can help you fix them. So I would like to introduce you to our brand new partner, brand new family member, and hopefully you will find this as, wow, I don't even, there it is. Oh, thank golly. I couldn't even find it. But I hope you find this as entertaining as I did, because I don't know a lot about Max. So this was very fun for me. He's a great guy, extremely fun to talk to, easy to talk to, and I learned a lot of things that I didn't know before. So here's Justin Egger, one of our brand new partners, and here you go. Hey everybody, it's Zach Clayton, Community Pay It Forward, and I'm so honored to bring on the founder of Virtua Computers, Mr. Justin Escar. Did I get that right?
Hey, yeah, you got it right. Perfect.
Hey, look at that. You look at that. You know, son graduated today, so I guess a little bit of the smarts rubbed off on me.
That must be why you're in a nice tight suit.
Yeah. That, or, you know, just because, well, I couldn't, all my good clothes were dirty. So, you know,
I made it easy. I wear the same. If you watch any podcast with me, I'm wearing the same shirt. I need to buy more of these, but I know that, so I just keep the shirt here. I'm not going to tell you how bad it smells.
No, yeah, there you go. Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, I was going to say, the undershirt I've been wearing for about a month, but that's just, I told you before, I didn't see that you stood up and disappeared. I was like going, hey, how do you do that trick? I'm pretty sure people would like to see less of me when I'm doing this. So, but I guess I can just oversaturate it and disappear. But
Yeah.
cares. So, Justin, tell me a little bit about your journey. Why did you start Virtua Computers?
Yeah, thanks, Zach. So this journey goes back to when I was 5 years old. I was in Florida with my mom for a vacation. I come home, and on my dining room table, my dad had purchased an Apple IIc computer with a monitor and a disk drive and a bunch of floppy disks. And it was weird. And I fell in love with it, right? I fell in love with the whole thing. And I remember vaguely my parents fighting about how expensive it was, but I got into it. And then I got those magazines. There used to be these, the centerfold was lines of code, right? Like that's the kind of magazine it was. And I was writing programs on this thing. It blew my mind. And my journey started there. In 7th grade, I started working in the computer lab in the middle school I was in. I got a new computer then, and I just kept going with it. I was always enamored by this technology. So in college, I was doing a little bit of computer work, some web work. And when I got out of college in 2002, not a great economy for jobs. I was temping. I went away with a friend of mine. And while I was away, my sister, who lived in Manhattan at the time, had a Mac that needed some service. She called a local Mac company and got the guy's business card. When I came back, she gave me the card. I called them up and I said, hey, I need a job. Can I work for you? And they said, sure. So I went to go work for them for a couple of years. That person sold it to another company. I worked for them for a while. And then in 2008, I started the baseline of Virtual Computers, an Apple consultant based in Manhattan. So what we do is we are outsourced IT for businesses who have Macs. And from there, my journey just kind of exploded. In 2010, I started doing apps for the iPad when they first came out. I had a very popular app called Sign My Pad. It was a PDF signature application. This is pre-DocuSign, pre-EchoSign, pre all those people. Apple wrote about us. We got into a fight with Wired magazine. It was a great, like, looking back on it, I was like, this is a great story. But like in the time, I was like, I can't believe they hit us. And I then from there started doing other things. I started speaking about the apps. I wrote a book about the app build. And then I went on some conferences and I learned about who the people were that were coming to these conferences. And a lot of the Mac or Apple-based conferences were very technical heavy. Here's how you deploy a printer to 400 computers with one line of code. That wasn't what I was doing at the time. And so I was looking for questions on how to better run my business. And so no one had a good answer, or at least the same answer. So what I did was I started a conference. So I started the ACES conference, where we brought Apple consultants in to learn how to better their business. We're now in year 9 of that conference. And through that conference, I was actually able to meet a lot of other Apple consultants, ones that I normally didn't have access to. I was only really interacting with the ones in New York City, New Jersey, Connecticut. Now I'm interacting with consultants all over the United States and all over the globe. And because of that, and because of those relationships I was able to build, actually during the pandemic, I was able to acquire 3 of them and integrate them into the Virtual Computers world, thus creating now Virtual Consulting. Virtual Consulting is our overarching one, of which Virtual Computers is the outsourced IT. We acquired a company called My Mac Mentor, where we do B2C, more residential training on how to use their technology, how people feel better about using their technology. We have that product. And we acquired a company towards the end of last year called Gravity, which is an Apple authorized service provider, which means we can now fix Apple hardware right in our shop in Columbia, Missouri. So laptops, desktops, iPhones, iPads, AirPods, etc. So now I kind of have the trifecta across the board of helping businesses, helping residential, and fixing your hardware. On top of my conference, I have a funny t-shirt store. I've written a couple other, I wrote a kid's book. I wrote an adult coloring book. I dabbled in hardware for a little bit. Those are all like side giggy things. And I also have the conference and I host a podcast. So I got a lot going on. The journey is very weird, all stemming from that one Apple IIc computer that my dad bought in 1985.
Oh, that's crazy. you brought it up. We create our own little kids club computer, or not computer, color books. So
Oh, nice.
just talking about it, it's just something that we do to try to help get kids involved with helping others. So I think it's great. When is your conference?
So the ACES conference is normally in May. So as we're recording this today, May 19th, once we had to go to the pandemic style of conferences. So like our conference is always in May. So we had lockdown in March of 2020. So we made a quick shift. We thought it was going to be a quick thing. So we said, all right, we'll have the conference in October and and I wanted to do like a 2-day Jerry Lewis style, 48 hours of all new fresh content and get all my friends involved to do this thing and also raise money for, a charity or whatever it is. My wife and my co-host at the time were both like, don't do this. You have little children. You need sleep. And I was like, okay, fine. So we did 2 12-hour days that we looped. So it still came out to the 24-hour day. Then the following years, once we realized, hey, look, we're not getting out of this and lockdown is still kind of a thing and nobody wants to be in person yet. 2021, 2022, and this year, 2023, have been what we like to call campfire style. So it's every Thursday in May for like 3 hours. You get a little bit of content, kind of like a webinar, but every week. And the nice thing about this is it gives you that week in between to really like take advantage of the things you've learned and implement them in your business. So it's a way to slow burn. But hopefully next year, we won't have to go virtual. Next year will be our 10th year. We're calling it ACES X just because it's like a Mac thing, because Mac OS 10 was known as Mac OS X for a lot of people. So we're playing on that. But yeah, every Thursday in May for the last like 4 years. It's been rough. It's been fun. I've been doing it right. If you're watching this podcast right now, I'm in the same spot. This is my this is a little studio I built here. I'm in the same spot. I have my mat. I have my shirt. I have my setup. I have my walls. Like, this is where I do it from. This is exactly. And every day I start the same thing with, what's up, everybody? Welcome to ACES Conference. Like, right from here. So this is like a real deal. This is how I do it.
So the wife has got you in that closet. She shuts the door, locks it for a couple hours and says, come out when you're better.
What's funny is that, like, my wife works, she has her own office downstairs, but she tends to work in the kitchen. And every Thursday I start the show off, and every Thursday, 5 minutes later, I get a text message going like, wow, that's really loud. Because she can hear me. Because when I start the show, I come out like full blaze, right? And I'm very loud about it. And my voice travels really well in this house.
Yeah. Where can people go back and, we are towards the end of the month. Can people go back and watch the other episodes?
So if you are a paid ticket holder, yes, you can go back and you'll have access to the previous videos. You have to buy in for that year. So anyone who does miss something, we do give them access to be able to see it. So we want to, again, the content that we're producing here with the ACES conference is business related topics. Honestly, I could take out the word IT from all of it and make these work for almost any other business. Right? We had a person on yesterday talking about mindful communication, right? And it stops me from saying things like, hey guys, because guys is not an inclusive word.
Yeah.
So like that's not an IT specific thing. We just relate it to IT, right? I could take that entire topic and drop it into any other business and say it's business learnings for, community building, or business learnings for couch manufacturers, whatever. So that's the benefit of it. But we try to gear it specifically towards other Apple consultants, people like myself, who I've known throughout the years, who are members of the Apple Consultants Network, which is a program at Apple, and give them the tools, because a lot of people who are like myself got into this business because they're good with technology.
Yeah.
Right. I know Macs, therefore I will start a Mac business. And here I go, you're forgetting the operative word in that is the word business. You need to know how to handle a business. You need to understand work-life balance and contracts and marketing and branding and what the difference is between those, and how to deal with HR and inclusivity and all these things. And so that's what we try to teach within the conference.
Ah, that's amazing. All right, I'm going to ask the question that's got to be asked. You know that you're either an Apple guy or you're not. Yeah. So why Apple? Why Mac?
So I'm a Mac person because I grew up on it, but when I was in college, I did go to the dark side for a little bit, and I came back once I got that job that started me off again in 2004. To be honest, I'm not I'm not Apple or PC because at the end of the day, everyone looks at the same gross filth on the internet, right? Like it doesn't matter what computer you're on, what device you're on. I think what makes Apple the best of the two is just because of the way it has been architectured. The fact that the OS and the hardware run simultaneously together in a very synergistic way, right? And that, whilst a lot of people are like, oh, it's a closed system, that closed system has prevented viruses and massive hacks on a lot of Apple-based systems. Like when you hear about somebody being hacked, Home Depot, an airline, or whatever, like it's not like, oh, they got in through the iPads. No, they got in through the Windows XP terminals that haven't been updated in forever because the credit card processors don't want to pay to upgrade the software.
Yeah.
Right? So there's a lot of that. On the other side of that coin, though, I do get a lot of people when I'm pitching my services say, what do I need you for? Macs just work. I can tell you right now, they don't, because I've been in business for this long. And also, it's not you. A lot of the times, it's not the Mac that's the problem. It's the human being. It's the person with the wrong expectations, right? I got a client who's like, this should work this way. And I go, that's not how it works. Why not? Because that's not the way it was designed or built. You can't change a building. You have to change your expectations, right? So a lot of my job is psychology, helping the person understand this is the goal. Now, don't get me wrong. There are times where it is the computer, right? The hard drive fails. That's not psychology. That's literally the hard drive failed. But explaining to the person why it's important they have backups because the hard drive failed. Why did the hard drive fail? I get a lot of times if a hard drive fails, I go, how did this happen? It's supposed to be infallible. It's a Mac. I'm like, this is why we have backups. Also, do you have any light bulbs in your house? Yeah. Have they ever failed? Yeah. Out of the blue? Yeah. Why? And then they go, I don't know, light bulbs just burn out. Cool. Hard drives are just electronics, just like a light bulb. They're just a more complicated light bulb. So being able to explain that to people has definitely got me as far as I've gotten so far in my career. I was actually just having a conversation with a IMpACT mentor client today about this. She was asking me about how did Google become Google? And I kind of explained the history of Google and how they started and where they make their money and things like that. And she's like, you're really good at explaining this. And I was like, this is kind of what my one of my many fields of expertise is explaining things and using analogies. I love to use cars as an analogy, right? How do you explain here? I got a question for you, Zach. Right? How do you explain one computer versus another computer when on the outside they look the same, right?
Yeah.
So I say, okay, well, that's a Honda with a V4, and that's an Acura with a V6. They both get you where you want to go. One's a little bit prettier than the other, and one's a little bit got a bigger engine. And they go, oh, I get it. And then they understand why they're spending more money for the second one than the first one. So there's things like that that have helped me along the way. So I wouldn't say a Mac versus PC. Honestly, I don't care. If you have a PC, that's great. Just protect it properly. Stop thinking that you're infallible and stop thinking that they won't hack you because you're just not anybody important. They'll hack you because they can, not because you're nobody. And that's, as long as you take the right precautions, I don't care. That being said, I don't understand how Microsoft programs work the way they work. Even in 2023, I'm still confused why you can open up 17 versions of Excel on the same machine. That shouldn't happen. But I'll reserve that for when I have conversations with the people at Microsoft.
You know what's funny is that you're talking about all this, and we're talking about Microsoft right now. I got a brand new computer. I mean, the thing's less than 6 months old, and it's locked by something called a BitLock.
Yep, you got BitLockered.
Yeah, I'm on an old computer that barely runs because I cannot get my BitLock removed. That BitLocker, I can't get it removed. I can't figure it out. So I've got a giant paperweight right now. So it's something that, yeah, computers and me, we've never been great friends. Prior to me being ran off the road, I always tell people that I could walk into a room and you could have one of those 1980s computers that were about this wide, and the keyboard was connected to the stand, and it had the old green screen. We all played Oregon Trail on it and stuff like that. It could have been unplugged in a closet for 20 years. I would walk into a room and you would see smoke coming out of that closet door just because I am that guy. Okay,
You're
I'm
not.
that guy.
Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. I know plenty of people who are your body must just produce more static electricity or electromagnetic electricity. I have plenty of clients who have the same thing. I give a client a new computer and they touch it, first time they've ever touched it, and they get an electrical shock. Like, I'm like, what's wrong with your biochemistry? Like, that's beyond me, right? And sometimes I'll be like, Mercury's in retrograde, and they're like, yes, it is, and I'm like, oh, that explains it. But like, there are plenty of times where I'm like, can I just wrap you in a thing of aluminum foil because you're an electromagnet waiting to happen. Like, it's something with biochemistry. It goes beyond my pay grade, but you're not the only one.
You know, my son, who is an Apple honk. Okay, this kid loves Apple. Everything Apple, Apple, Apple. Everything he does. And there was one point in time he was about 9 years old, and he looked at me, and we had just got a computer set up in the house, and again, and I started to walk towards it, and my son, 9 years old, looks at me and he goes, "Dad, stop. Sit your fat ass down. What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Son, I just want to check the hockey scores." And he did. He looked at me and he goes, "Go sit down. I will do it." And I'm like, "Okay." And he goes, "Every time you touch a computer, it does not work again. So just go sit down, ask me to do it, and I'll do it."
Nice. How old is your son now?
He's now 21. He's the one that I really want to get you introduced to, because just to meet him. So I mean, he's a brilliant kid. And you know, well, of course I'm dad. I'm not going to say what a dunce, but you know, I mean, I do. I love the kid, and he's so damn smart about it. I'll call him with a problem, and he'll be like, "Oh, you're so old." Okay.
It's funny about that because like I do the same thing to my dad. Like, I'll tell a story. My dad, he got scammed out of $1,000 by these hackers, like the people, the fake phone calls from India.
Yeah.
They called him up. It was 11:30 at night on a Sunday, and they said, "Hi, we're calling from Apple. Your Apple ID has been locked. Give us $1,000. We'll unlock it." And he didn't know better, and he paid them.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Why didn't you call me?" He goes, "Because it was 11:30 at night." And I said, "Do you think Apple's calling you at 11:30 at night?" Right. And like, then it clicked. And I feel bad because my father's older and I get it. And I'm not mad at him for this. Right. I'm just upset that now I have to tell this story because I talk about cybersecurity a lot to a lot of people. And in my list of people who have gotten hacked in 2022, it's like Red Cross, the Costa Rican government, my dad. Like, it's just a sad thing to be on that list. But I do tell this story because it just takes a little bit of common sense to think through this thing. And when it's late and you're someone who's older, it may not click right away. So you have to be very cognizant of it because that's unfortunately the world that we live in. Right.
Yeah.
And so one of the things we do with our IMpACT mentor program, for example, is we try to train residential users to understand and learn that and what to do to protect themselves. Right. I got people who are like, "I don't pick up the phone for anyone." I'm like, "Cool, don't." But I have other people who like constantly will do this. I had a client one time, this is years ago. She needed help from Backblaze. Backblaze is this very awesome online backup tool. Backs up your computer to the internet, totally safe, 30-day retention, $6 a month, $7 a month. Super awesome. Love them. She needed help with it. And instead of calling me, she decided to Google Backblaze support. And she got some random 800 number that popped up on Google. Now, this is years ago. They don't do this anymore. And she ended up on the phone with someone she thought it was at Backblaze. And she gave her username and password. And she almost gave them their credit card, but she saw the invoice they were sending her for $40,000.
Wow.
She didn't need $40,000 worth of backup for her laptop. She was calling a fake number. She didn't realize that. But that $40,000, she stopped. She called me. She said, "Hey, I made a mistake. I called Backblaze. This is what happened." I'm like, "That's not Backblaze." And we figured it out and got it solved. But it was something that just snapped at her to do it. Had that phone call happened at 11:30 at night on a Sunday, I guarantee you she would have been out $40,000.
You know, it is amazing to me, Justin, that look, these guys, they know what they're doing.
Yep.
These scammers know what they do. and they're getting better at disguising things. So it's one of those things you just really, really got to be careful. Honestly, I was taken for about $250 by one that it's like, hey, we just, your antivirus just noticed
Oh
that
yeah.
you got a virus. You give us, $250, we'll get it fixed. I'm freaking out. New business guy, didn't know what the hell I was doing. Threw him the 250, and they really screwed up my computer,
Yeah.
and that computer was dead. So yeah, it's kind of like one of those things that, what, bad people, no matter what we do, bad people are going to do bad things. They're going to get smarter at it, and that's an unfortunate thing. Tell me this: the one thing about a computer is no matter, you get this brand new shiny computer, they're already working on the next one. How
Yeah.
difficult is that for you guys to keep up, or is everything pretty much, yeah, they're the same? It's just there's, little tweaks and little stuff that we've got to learn, or is it all, or is it every year? Here we go. We got to learn everything new.
Yeah, it's not that. I mean, for on the Mac side of things, the newest operating system that's currently out, Mac OS 13 Ventura, is a big divergence from what the last 6 or 7 versions have been. So there's a lot to learn there, but it's not so different that any one of us who's been in the business for a long time can just we can adjust. In terms of hardware, I mean, I get this all the time. People say, should I buy now or should I wait? Well, if you wait, you're always going to be waiting because there's always going to be something new that's coming down the line. And the fact of the matter is, if you buy something today, it's going to last you a good long time. So the learning curve is not that steep. The waiting curve is almost nothing. There's websites out there that say like, don't buy IMpACT because they're going to change soon. Like if you need a computer, buy a computer. Like don't wait, just buy it. You're jumping right into the deep end with the new OS, which is great. And of course, everything has bugs.
Yep.
When being a member of the Apple Consultants Network and having my conference of other IT professionals have given me a very large breadth of people to like. Someone finds a bug, we all know about it within 4.5 seconds, right? Hey, just figured this thing out. It's not working. I have 3 Slack workspaces and 2 massive text threads with random Apple people that like, if something is posted here, I'm sharing it here. If something's here, I'm going here and going here. And like, we're all sharing this information. So the learning curve for it is not that bad. Apple is on a every year new OS kind of kick. WWDC, which is Apple's Worldwide Developer Conference, will be happening, I think, in June. They're probably going to announce Mac OS 14, which will come out in September because that's what their history has done for us. Yeah. But who knows? A lot of people think that they should come out with a sub, they should be 1013 or sorry, Mac OS 13 B and like fix all the bugs before they go on to 14. But these companies love to just throw numbers at things. They don't mean anything.
Yeah.
Right. Because the crux of the OS has been the same since 2001 when it was Mac OS 1.0. So the as long as you're using it on a day-to-day and at the rate and level that myself and my team use it, anything that's thrown to us, don't get me wrong. I will once in a while say to a client, "Hey, I've never seen this. Let me go do some research," because I'm humble about it and I understand what my limitations are. But at the same time, I would say I've probably seen 90%, 95% of the problems.
Yeah. The one thing, and I've got a couple more questions for you, and then we'll let you go for the day. But the one thing that I find is funny is that now, anytime that a new phone comes out, they don't talk about the phone; they talk about the camera. So, I mean, and that's the one thing that, it stopped being about the phone about what, 8 years ago. And now every time it's a new camera, it's like,
well, because it already makes phone calls. Yeah, because it already makes phone calls. What more do you want it to do? Right.
Yeah.
So
it's like, I'm not a photographer. I don't care. And besides that, I'm still, and this tells you about me and my technologically advanced brain. I still cannot take a picture without my finger on it. I mean, there's still a finger on it.
So Apple would, what Apple would probably say? They'd probably say it's not the phone, it's your finger. Cut your finger off, right? Like that's the phone thing is because you got to remember when the iPhone first came out, Steve Jobs blended web browsing, phone, and music into one tool. Camera wasn't even on. Remember, the first iPhone didn't have a camera. And so the goal was, how can I make phone calls, listen to music, and get information at the same time? Because remember, the iPad has been out for a while now, and Nokia was rocking the cell phone market. So you had two separate devices in your pocket. So they took the iPod, they added a cellular connection to it, and called it an iPhone, basically. From there, we've already now maximized the technology when it comes to making phone calls. I can pick up the phone, I can press dial, I can call somebody. I can ask Siri, hey, call this person. Or I can FaceTime them. We're not going to get any better with that. That is top of the line. Surfing the web, granted, the antenna can be better, it can be faster, but we've already reached the top of the line because we can surf the internet. So then what's left in this device that can do anything? Well, you have the camera, you have its portability, its lightness, you have its screen size, and that's all anyone talks about now.
Yep.
And that's what the big fight is. If you ever watch those big fights between Apple, Apple fans and Android fans, well, the Samsung Galaxy has 45 cameras and does this thing and blah, 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 and 3D, and it can take a picture before you even know it, blah, blah. And Apple's like, okay, well, you guys do that, and we'll come up with something else, and then we'll steal that from you, and you'll steal this from us.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, I can just pick this up, press a couple buttons. Oh, hey, how are you? And be done with it.
Yep.
Right. And that's its core. We've moved beyond its core functionality. So that's why we talk about. That's why a lot of those events are like the new camera, the new this, the new antenna, the new whatever. No one ever talks about Bluetooth, right? When was the last time people were like, it's got Bluetooth 3? Because Bluetooth has capped out its technology skills, right? That's the problem we're running into, which is why, if you've watched anyone downplay the iPhone, let's say 12, 13, 14, and the new one that's going to be coming out, they're like, oh, it's just the same thing with different pictures. Of course it is. It's a phone. It's a phone. It's a phone with a screen that lets you look at the internet while you're on it. You want to look up a recipe? You want to look up a restaurant? It's a phone. It's a mobile computer. There's only so much you can do. Yep. Stop asking for more. It's not innovative. That's my other problem. And this isn't an Apple thing. This is just in general. We've hit our crux at a lot of innovation. And so the iPhone was an innovative thing. It blew people away. The iPad was just a bigger phone, but it's still pretty innovative. We haven't seen an iPhone level innovative technology in a while. The rumor is that, augmented reality, AR, virtual reality, VR, is going to be the next big technological breakthrough. I don't see it, but then again, who am I?
Yeah, well, things come out of nowhere. Things come out of, science fiction, wherever. They come from somewhere. Things always happen that you're sitting there and, they're amazing for a couple minutes and then it's like, blasé, So it's one of those things. Last question for you. Justin, you've joined the Community Pay It Forward family and we welcome you and we're so proud to have you. Give us a couple ideas on those things that really, really touch your heart. What are some of the things that you love to support and you really see problems with and would like to see more attention on?
Yeah. So as an organization for virtual, we've actually come together and every year we try to donate to Feed the Children. Yeah. I'm a father. Our president is a mother. Actually, I can hear my child about to walk into my office here, and we support we're gonna have to cut and edit. Daddy's on a phone call. You gotta be quiet, okay? Okay, I'm on a phone call. Can I do that in a minute? Okay, can I do that in a minute? I'm on a phone call. All right, go sit on the couch. Be quiet. Thank you. Love you. She's home sick. So, but being a parent, our president is a parent. Our director of technology is a parent. We do not want to see children in the future go hungry. Yep. So we put money towards those kinds of organizations. And we also support one of our clients. We take care of their technology. We support them also. It's a company called Stupid Cancer. They help AYA cancer patients and advocates. Very small organization, but a very large giving platform and a very large community, especially in the AYA, cancer arena. So we try to support those two as much as possible, because I understand the next generation coming up. We want to make sure we give them the best we can. So we want to make sure that they're fed, and we want to make sure that they're healthy. And, that's really important to us.
It's kind of funny. I say it all the time, Justin, that I love my kids, yours not so much, but I think every kid deserves a chance. And I think that's a wonderful way of looking at it. And it is true that, cancer is kind of one of those things that, there's not a single one of us who has not been affected in some way by cancer, whether it's just a really good friend. In the last year, I've lost 4 of my dearest friends to cancer. And it's kind of one of those things. My friend, again, welcome to the family. We're so proud to have you on board. And I can't wait to learn some more about this stuff. You're still talking to a pseudo idiot when it comes to it, but I'm learning.
We'll get you there.
Computers and I have now got this agreement. If they will work for me or with me, during business hours, I won't kick them. So we've got that going. But
yeah, we'll get you there. Slowly but surely, we'll get you there.
Eventually. So, but thank you, my friend. I appreciate it so very much.
Thank you.
Justin Esgar from Virtua Computers. You can find him on Community Pay It Forward /Virtua Computers. We are going to be right back with some more stuff, and we're going to be talking about an event this weekend with our great friends at Healing Warriors. So stick with us.
Hi, I'm Michael Latone, and I'm with Stride Solutions. We specialize in reducing expenses and obtaining large federal tax incentives for businesses large. ERC benefits are up to $26,000 for each W-2 employee. Tired of paying high property taxes? Get your share of $1 million. How about a huge bag of money delivered to your doorstep? Activate an account. I'm Michael Latone, and I'm with Stride Solutions. Have a great day.
I still love my Zach mat. I've actually got both of them in the office right now. It's one of my favorite things in the world. So no, you cannot have the Zach mat. Matter of fact, I've got my blue one right here, my orange one over there. So no, you cannot have my Zach mat. Thank you to Justin Esgar. Look, computers are what they are. They change all the time, and the truth is, said it quite a bit lately, stay in your lane. I mean, the people who make money by screwing you over, it's what they do. Okay, don't fall for it. Let somebody who is prepared, let somebody who studies, let somebody who is contacted, deal with them. So if you got an Apple, if you've got a Mac, iPad, whatever you got, just make sure that reach out to them. You can find their page right here, communitypayitforward.us Virtua/computers, or you can give them a call at 347-369-4878, 347-369-4878, or of course go to support@virtuacomputers.com. Coming up this weekend in Fort Collins, right here in my home state of Colorado, You can find it at 3156 South Overland Trail in Fort Collins. You got the Healing Warriors Program's second annual 5K fun run. Okay, I find those words a little ironic because I ain't gonna have fun trying to run 5K. That's for damn sure. Well, quite honestly, I mean, I say it quite often. I'm a fat guy. I don't get off on that whole running thing. You exercise people, you guys, have all my love and respect because, well, that ain't me. So, but please check it out. If you're anywhere in the northern Colorado area, anywhere in Wyoming, hell, Nebraska, Kansas, it's going to be a beautiful weekend. And let me tell you this about the Overland Trail park that they're at. It's such a beautiful place. I mean, you're right at you're right at the bottom of the mountain. Right at the bottom of Horsetooth. You're right in that area. You look up there, fresh air. I almost said fresh green air. Oy, oy, oy. Fresh green leaves, beautiful air, nice and relaxing. Great to breathe in, all that other stuff. So once again, coming up this weekend, you have the just come and join us because I will not be running. Partly because nobody needs to see that. I would start to run and then the fat would kind of be like, the water displacement. Okay. I would take a couple steps and then the waves of fat would jump back and forth and back and forth. I'd end up in a lot of trouble. So, but the 5K fun run starts Sunday. The race starts at 9. We will have a booth there, and we are going to be with our great friend Steve Solis and his beautiful bride. They're going to be there tying up some balloons. So you know what? Bring your kids out. We've got some wonderful creations by my wife, who's going to be there, like many things, coaster sets. And she's going to be taking special orders for like chess sets. I mean, she does like one of the things that she does for me, and I've said it many times before, I am a huge fan of history. This is just one of the things that, she, out of epoxy that she's done for me. It's just a little Egyptian thing. We've still got to paint it, but, it's got the Eye of Horus on it and some other special, markings up top. But, she's got so many different things. We're going to have it there, and we're going to see what we can do. One of the other things that is going to be there, we are going to, thanks to the goddess of the grave, we're going to have this flyer. And I just talked to Stephanie. Look, this is how quickly she moves. Okay. I mean, this is seriously, she is this damn good. Minutes ago, I just asked her, hey, can you help me out? We got this thing with Healing Warriors. And she goes, here you go. And she created it. And there it is right there. So all you got to do is scan this right here, and everything that you do, or every bottle of wine that you buy, can go to supporting Healing Warriors. You can join our monthly fundraising initiatives by scanning that QR code. Let's raise a glass for good together. Once again, Stephanie and I do a show, twice a month, the first and third Wednesday of every month. And we try to bring you new, smaller nonprofits. Due to scheduling issues and an illness last week, the people from the Pandas Foundation, they weren't able to be there. So they're going to join us this Wednesday. Stephanie's going to be back. So you know what? I got the honor of doing 3 shows with her this month instead of just 2. And then I'm actually going to bug the hell out of her, because then The following week, we introduce our June. So we got a lot of stuff going on here, as always, trying to help out these small to medium nonprofits. We need your support. One of the places that I beg of you to check out. Okay, we're talking about them. And now I'm going to introduce them to you a little bit more. This is an interview that we did a couple months ago with my dear friend Janet from Healing Warriors. Look, this is one of the hardest working ladies I have ever met in my life. Okay, I wish that we had more time to sit down and talk. It would be so nice, but that just can't happen all the time. So this is an interview that we did with Janet from Healing Warriors. There's a little bit of fanfare before it, but after this, we're going to let you go. We're running a little bit over an hour today. This is about I believe it's about a 35-minute interview. So it is going to run a little bit longer than the hour that a Community Impact works. But you know what? It's worth it. Once again, join us this weekend on Overland Trail in Fort Collins, 3156 South Overland Trail in Fort Collins for the second annual 5K Fun Run. Let's check this out. Shall we? That is such a catchy little tune. It really is. Well, I'm going to tell you this, Stephanie. There's nothing like trying to shut off one podcast to jump onto another one. I think I hit more wrong buttons that time than I've ever done before.
You made it, though. Let's celebrate. You made it.
Yep. So we made it, and while this is a very, very unusual position for us to be in at this time, at least live, I usually play one of these videos, repeat of one of these videos, but I mean, this is one of the first times we've got to do this live. This one is, as they all are, this one is very special to me because Janet and I have worked together for quite a while, and she's going to be joining us here real soon. One of the busiest people I know. She's, just always on the run. But Healing Warriors is a program that they offer free health care to veterans here in Northern Colorado, and I am so excited. And I'd like to bring her on, Miss Janet Hatfield from Healing Warriors. Hey, sweetie, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing fantastic. As I was just telling Stephanie, this is kind of one of our a weird situation. We don't usually do them on Fridays, but this is one that just to get you, to accommodate you, to get you on here. I would have done it on a Saturday morning at 2:00 if that's what it took. So
Thank you.
we're so excited to finally be able to get you on here. Janet, you're part of, as I just mentioned, Healing Warriors program. Can you tell us a little bit about what you guys do?
Absolutely. We are a veteran nonprofit integrative healthcare clinic in Fort Collins. We serve veterans from every era, every branch of service. We also serve their spouse/partner and their parents. We're one of the very few that integrate the family unit into their treatment programs. Our main mission is really suicide prevention. And we do that by interrupting the factors that lead to suicidal ideation. So we treat for PTSD, we treat for traumatic brain injuries, chronic pain, sleep disturbances, interpersonal trauma. We have series for a little bit of everything. We have a cancer support series, we have an immune series, we have a detox series. We do all of this non-narcotically because so many times veterans are getting out of the service, or when they got out, the main thing that they were given to treat their illnesses, their wounds, their invisible wounds, were to put them on narcotics. So the opioid crisis has spiraled out of control over many years because of all of that. And so we decided, Anna started this back in 2013, and it came from the high tech sector, where she basically hired a lot of veterans because they had the skill sets, but then she also noticed the issues that they were dealing with and wanted to find a way to give back to them and do it the right way, non-narcotically, to be able to rebalance them and to give them some hope and some health in the future. And so she started a free once a year clinic at Wings Over the Rockies. And they said, "Why are you only doing this once a year?" And she said, "Well, I have another job." But so sort of got pushed into starting a nonprofit, and started that when they told her it would take 6 months. It took 2. And since then, we've done over 30,000 treatments for our veterans. We serve over 2,500 military families. We have our main clinic in Fort Collins, and then we also do free monthly pop-up clinics in Longmont, in Denver, and in Colorado Springs. We do all of the stand down events, which are the homeless events for veterans. Yep. We do all the yellow ribbon events, which are the pre and post deployment events. We treat active duty at Buckley and up at Warren. We're involved in a little bit of everything.
You know, you guys going down to Denver, that's something that I find extremely refreshing, because people don't understand, that's about an hour and 15-minute drive, unless of course you try to go on I-25, and then it's about a 3-hour drive, yeah, because construction in, well, I-25. But
forever.
You guys going down to Denver, you guys really make it a habit to try to be where people are.
Absolutely. Yeah, we are at the VFW posts. We try to align with the VFW posts or the National Guard Training Center in Colorado Springs. We're at VFW Post 1 in Denver. We're at the Post 2601 in Longmont, and we do that on the same Saturday every month. And all of our services are free. You do have to make an appointment for our clinic to come there and receive treatment. And do a little bit of intake paperwork on the onset, but we can normally get you in within a couple of days to a week at the most. But the pop-up clinics are absolutely free. You don't need an appointment even. As long as you have a military ID or your DD-214, that's all it takes to come and get treatment from us.
You guys have added a lot more services since we first met. I know that yes. You guys have a place where you have in your in your building, in your offices, you guys have like massage tables and stuff, correct? I mean, just to kind of help people out,
Well,
or
we don't do massage. We do acupuncture. We do
acupuncture. I'm
craniosacral.
sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, we do
Right.
acupuncture, we do craniosacral work, and we do healing touch therapies. And we also do guided imagery, and we do telehealth as well. So all of these modalities are ones that have been developed and or, you know, used with military personnel. They've been developed by military medical practitioners to treat our military people non-narcotically. They were looking for a way as well. And when these modalities were shown through studies and through the data to actually have huge improvements in our veterans, those are the modalities that Anna ended up putting together for this program. And we won't add modalities necessarily. We will add programs that we found that are, or treatment series that we found that our modalities fit with and that other people have been using to help, such as the cancer support series, our pre and post surgical support series that we just started this year. Those we have almost 10 years worth of data and efficacy on the treatments and the progress that our veterans are making. We have between a 50 and 57% success rate in every one of our modalities from the time they walk in to the time they walk out. So we have the data, we have the studies, we are involved in statewide collaborations on suicide prevention because of the data and the integrity of what we do.
One of the benefits I think that you guys have, once again, is that you're not in just one place, and so it's easier for individuals who are looking for you. While you guys don't, you're not able to do as much as you guys would like to do. You guys do as much as you can do, but you're fighting those suicide rates just by being there. And
Exactly.
what are some of the reactions that you guys get when these heroes come to you guys? What are some of the, what are some of the reactions that you guys get, because you guys truly are, you're a hero to the heroes.
I think the biggest thing that they feel when they first even walk in the door is that it's a safe space for them. Our clinic is set up with them in mind. Our biggest mantra is what's best for the client. It's not about us. It's not about our egos. It's not about our bottom line. It's about helping them and whatever it takes to help them. And it's very hard to get military to come in because they have the stigma of not admitting when they do have an issue, or they think that they don't deserve it and there's someone else out there worse off than them. And that is absolutely not the case. It's okay to not be okay when you come to us. And the easiest way that I've found, I go to a lot of outreach events and I talk to a lot of groups. And the easiest way a lot of times to get someone to walk in the door is to ask them if they're sleeping. Most military do not sleep. They're hypervigilant when they're in the military, and it's 24/7, and drop of a dime, they're awake. So that carries over when they get out of the military. So it's very hard for them to sleep. And if you don't sleep, you can't heal, you can't process. So to get them in on sleep is sometimes the easiest way to get them in the door. And then once they have that safe space and they learn to trust us and they build that rapport with us, then a lot of times it's sort of unpeeling the onion and figuring out what other things that they have going on that they're now ready to tell us about and that we can help them with. We also have a client care navigator that every client gets to meet with, who tries to uncover if there's anything externally going on, if it's housing, if it's tires for their car, if it's gas money, if it's problems that they're having dealing with the VA through some of the systems that they have to go through there, because we are a registered VA vendor. So we work very closely with VA. So if we have to get a veteran services officer connected with them, I've literally had people come over to the clinic to meet with some clients if the client is compromised and can't really travel a lot. So we do everything that we can to help them on external levels, because if you have that much stress going on the outside portions of your life too, then it's hard for them to heal on the level that we really want them to.
I know that personal experience here. It's really hard, as you said, when you're not sleeping. It's really hard to heal. It's also one of those things that if everything around you is kind of falling apart, and you're in a situation where everything is a worry,
Yeah.
the first thing that you hear is you've got to relax. If you don't relax, you're not going to heal.
Right.
And that's one of those things, Janet, that you're sitting there going, how in the hell am I supposed to relax when everything I love is flying out the window? I mean, there goes my
Exactly.
family, there goes my car. I just got the evict notice, and not finding the medical attention, the medical appointments, and not finding doctors that will actually sit down and listen to you
Yes.
is one of the most stressful things in the world.
It is.
You guys,
And I think people understanding too, because I think a lot of people have misconceptions of that veterans are so taken care of by the government and through the VA and everything else. And it's like, they don't understand that that's just not the case. There's many who don't even qualify for veterans services. There's a frustration level that goes along with it. I mean, you can literally have a person that's an amputee that every year they have to requalify for a disabled status. And the frustration levels that they go through with that are a lot of the reasons why these people end up taking their lives, because they just want it to stop. They just want the noise to stop. They just want the frustration and the anxiety portions to stop. So we're there to give them a whole different level of treatment that they can't find anywhere else. And like I said, we also incorporate the family into that, because many times they're just as affected as that veteran when they're trying to reintegrate back in to their family and to civilian life. And they need to understand what that person is going through, and they get stressed out, and that doesn't help. So we try to treat the whole family. I mean, the parents, the spouse, the partner, because half the time they're the caregivers. And it ends up bringing families back together, being able to be treated together. We don't treat them in the same room. They have separate practitioners. They have separate rooms. They can make their appointments at the same time, but we make sure that the privacy and the HIPAA portions and the efficacy and the all of it, the ethical portions of everything are kept separately. If they choose to talk about it afterwards, then that's up to them. But we don't share information between couples or family members.
and yeah, and I mean, insert. It's been said before by Zach Clayton here, but it's not just the patient that suffers, and
Exactly.
and there are times when the spouse or the partner,
Yeah.
they need to be taken and they need to be put into a room and just let
Yeah.
decompress, because there's stuff that look, they don't get the same person back who left. They
No.
don't. They one of our great friends, Stephanie Brian Gibson, has a great story that my kids got a different dad every time I came home.
Yeah.
You know, um, and that's true. So having those resources for the families, for some reason, Jen, I didn't realize that. I don't know why I didn't realize that, but I didn't realize that you guys had that for the family. I probably knew it, but I mean, let's be honest here. I would claim head injury, but I really wasn't that smart before the accident. So I mean, that's just kind of the way it is. What
It's a
are
lot
some
to
of the
unpack too. I mean,
yeah?
when I get rolling, I try to throw it all out there at once. So it's a lot to unpack. So that's where I try to touch back on those points as we keep talking, because I have a lot to say really quickly. And so I try to make sure that the key points get back out there again.
Oh, I'm gonna tell you something. I love you so much because every time I see you, there's that beautiful smile on your face, and you're always running around. And I mean, I think that if I would ever see you standing in one place, I would walk past you because I'd be like going, "That ain't her."
That's not
I
her,
know
right?
that's not her. So
Yeah,
but
this is the biggest break that I get is when I do things like this, and it's hard to find that break. So yeah.
yeah. Well, again, this one's an honor for me because you and I have a personal relationship. You and I got together and we started working together, and I love having you guys as one of our mission partners, and you can support. Other than what Stephanie's going to talk about here shortly, you can always support wounded. Healing Warriors. Sorry, that was.
Okay.
I should be flogged severely for that
It's
one.
okay.
You
They're a
can,
great organization as well, and what they
Yeah.
do is fantastic. The difference between us is that they only serve post 9/11 veterans.
I was
And
just gonna ask that. Yeah,
yeah,
that's something that I'll never be okay with.
yeah.
I will never be okay with it. You guys do.
Oh, you
It
everyone.
doesn't matter if you wear the uniform.
Doesn't matter.
So
It does not matter
and
whatever era, and because we also have the unique understanding of what era every era comes back with. So we're very prepared to deal with those situations when we get someone, depending on what era they're from. From World War II, it was frostbite. From Vietnam, it was Agent Orange. Now it's burn pits and TBIs. I mean, so we're very in tune to what's coming around the bend for us. When the Afghanistan situation happened, we upped our PTS series because all of those people that came back and Vietnam vets got re-triggered with all of that situation. A lot of them had the guilt thing of why were we there? And then just watching when everything ended, it was literally a carbon copy of Vietnam, only with better helicopters. So.
And it's got to be really tough for them. And I know this is getting into more political than I really like to, but it's got to be tough for them when they look back and they see half the country going, well, we just don't even want them there. We just to hell with the government, to hell with the war. And the thing is it's almost one of those, drown the baby with the bathwater. It's like they're there, they're part of the evil empire, and that's
Yeah.
not it. They sign that check, that blank check that says, you know what, we're going to go over there and do with us as you will.
Yeah. And they sacrifice everything. They sacrifice themselves. They sacrifice their families. I mean, the sacrifices that they give are things that, us lay people who've never had to deal with that. I mean, my family was military. I myself wasn't. I had two husbands who were military, one Vietnam. My dad was World War II and Korea. He was a retired lieutenant colonel. My mom was military. She was a civilian in the military. So I've had it surrounding me, but we don't understand anything that they've been through, whether they saw combat or not. All of it changed them
right
in one way or another. And that's where, some of our series, like our interpersonal trauma series, it's not just for somebody who may have dealt with a trauma situation while they were in duty. It's for people that some of them had trauma before they left for duty, and that was their escape from it. So you have to look at it on a lot of different levels. When we go in and treat somebody, it doesn't have to be combat related necessarily. It can be for anything. We're not going to say, oh, well, you didn't get your PTSD while you were, in the trenches. Well, then we can't treat you. We don't play that game. So.
Yeah, people just don't understand a lot of times that, you know what, even if they didn't even leave the States, they still left their family. A lot of these kids, they leave for the first time. They left everything that they knew for the first time. They're moving into something where they're like, well, I grew up on a farm and now I'm in California, and so it's culture shock, being away from the family, all these things. With what you just said, Janet, I had to show this. My mom found this the other day, and I'm trying to keep it. I hope that this. Oh no, I got to turn off my green screen real quick, but I've got to show this because this is so cool. This right here was given to my grandmother in World War II from the United States Navy for everything that she did in just as being part of the United States Navy, just being a part because my grandfather was in the Navy. And that is one of the coolest things I think I've ever seen. And I cannot wait to get that done. Stephanie, you've been a little quiet through this. You have anything?
I'm listening. I Those numbers are impressive, first of all. And I love that you guys move around and you're going to, not the problem is not the right word, but going to where the help is needed, I love that you're helping treat the families. I know Zach and I have spoken on this before. You mentioned caregivers and caretakers, and man, they go through PTSD too. They need the help and the support. So that's absolutely incredible. I know how excited he was to get you on here, Janet. So I'm so happy to meet you.
I'm sorry it's taken so long. I tried. It's like we wear a lot of hats. You know how nonprofit land is. I mean, so it's hard to carve out that time sometimes, but I knew I just needed to do it. And I was like, all right, I'm doing it.
Well, I am so thankful that you're here talking about Healing Warriors program, because, you've enlightened me on some things. I didn't realize that you guys did so much. So sorry, Zach, go ahead.
Oh, no, that's fine. It's actually kind of funny. John Vogels from Martyred Angels reminded me that, the word CEO for nonprofit means Chief Everything Officer, so, okay, it needs to be done. Hey, why don't I find there's no volunteers? Well, looks like I'm doing it. So and
you do whatever
like
it takes.
said,
that's our mantra.
Yep.
I mean, ours is whatever it takes, we're going to get it done. If I have to, and I'm always in the trenches with all my volunteers. That's just part of what I do, because I also want to let them understand how much they're appreciated and the time that they're giving, and what they're doing for us, and what our mission is, and them being a part of that. So that just gives them a little more skin in the game, and they want to volunteer more often. So.
And I also wanted to make this statement that I've been at a lot of places where there were a lot of volunteers who took it as just that, volunteers. Your volunteers, in which we've been to one, we were at the one event that unfortunately the weather was terrible.
Yeah.
But it was still a very successful event, and your volunteers walked around very helpful, very helpful.
Yes.
The two young men that came up to us were very helpful, smiles on their faces. I loved it because you could tell they understood the impact that they were having.
Yes. And I let them know that all the time. I am so adamant about just loving all of my volunteers, because I've seen too many situations. I've been doing events and this stuff for a long time, and I've seen too many instances where you get volunteers in, you throw them in a room, you have them do a project, or you send them somewhere and you never talk to them, and then they leave.
Yeah.
And to me, you're missing out on so much, because they don't know that much about you walking in the door, no different than you guys. And you, Zach, look how many times we've gotten together and there's still pieces that you're still picking up on the more that we get together. So that's always my goal when it comes to the volunteers, is to really just embrace them and give them all the knowledge in the world so that they can be out there spreading the news about us too.
Yeah, something huge that, and I want to bring you back to this. Something huge that you guys do is and you've mentioned it a couple times, is the non-narcotic stuff. Look, we're here with One Hope Lines, and we don't want anybody to, or we want everybody to understand that this is about what One Hope Lines does. This is not about the hey, let's all get together and let's all let's lift a glass to a great cause, but we're wanting people to understand and realize what Healing Warriors program is, because what you guys are doing is so fantastic. One of the biggest problems, and I read this on Wednesday night. I had this, I found this, and these stats are just awful. In 2020, there were over 320,000 suicides that were planned. There were 174,000 that were attempted, and 47,000 were successful.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all encompassing everyone. Yeah. But right now we are losing 47 heroes every day.
Yeah. And it used to be 22.
Yeah, it used to be 22. And that's the whole reason why that's the reason why we picked February 22nd. Oh, by the way, you need to add me to your calendar on February February 22nd. We'll talk about it here in a
Okay.
little. Well, I'm going to talk about it right now, but that's one of the reasons why we chose February 22nd to do our 22-hour podcast. It is in honor of the 47 individual heroes that are contemplating on that day taking their lives. We want to make sure that we're letting them know that, you know what, we may not understand it. Like Janet, I didn't serve. Stephanie, you didn't serve, but we are patriots. We are here to love you. We do not understand the situation you're in. I'll tell you right now, and by God, I'll never tell you I understand your situation. Right. I'll tell you what, if you need to know what my situation is, I'll tell you what that was. But I'm never going to compare my situation to yours.
And one of the things that we have as well is we put together suicide coping kits. And within those are obviously, you know, the new 988 number and a stress ball and a gun lock. But one of the really unique things that we have in there is that we have a magnetic picture frame that the middle of it pops out. And that's for you to put on your gun safe and put any picture behind that that is going to make you take that one moment before you open up that gun safe and not open it. It doesn't matter if it's your dog or your kids or your spouse, your parents, your buddies from college, pizza, I don't care. But this way you can customize it the way you want it, stick that on your gun safe, and that might be that one thing that stops you from making that next move.
Yeah. I just put on the screen, you can text 988 or chat with people at 988lifeline.org. If you don't want to call and speak to somebody, that's a great way to go. But just, just please remember, there are people out there who do love you, who do care. That's what we're here to do. But what I was getting at is you guys doing the non-narcotic way. There are certain times when pills are needed. There are certain times that pills are great. But your guys' treatments of non-narcotics, that right there is something that is going to knock the numbers down anyway. Because you're taking away not just a vice, but a loaded weapon.
Yeah, we're not, and we hope to take them away altogether, but that's not always the case. I mean, the pain management that they're given through narcotics is not meant for long term. It's meant for short term, and the problem is that it becomes an addictive situation. So when we have somebody that comes in, I mean, one of the people that I had talked to was on about 18 different prescriptions when he got out of the military. And he was just putting together cocktails to try to sleep and to deal with his pain. And after being with us for a while, he got down to 2. And what we also do too, we never give anybody medical advice. When they come in, we do a pain scale with them. We do a sleep index with them every time they walk in the door so that we can see where they are when they're walking out. So if you on a normal, we're coming in at an 8 and you keep leaving at a 6. And then all of a sudden you're coming in and you're at a 6 when you walk in, and we keep ratcheting you down on your pain level. Then we're going to suggest to you to have a conversation with your primary and to let them know that you may be ready to ratchet down on the dosage that you're on or what they're giving you for your pain management, because you're able now to manage that pain within yourself and the natural way, and healing through the processes that we're doing with them, that you may not need to be on as strong of a medication as what you were on. So we don't give medical advice, but we are always in tune with their primary care physicians and always have those conversations with them to make sure that you're talking to your primary and let them know what you're doing here and where you are with this so that you can potentially get off of it.
Janet, what are some of the things? Obviously, money drives the world. We understand this. Money is what makes the world go round. But what are some of the other things that people could donate to Healing Warriors, that program that would help you guys out?
I mean, everything from time. Volunteering is great. We have projects going on throughout the year, everything from putting together our suicide coping kits to our cancer support kits. We have events going on. We have 3 events that we do a year: our 5K, our golf tournament, and then our Denver Fall Gala. So there's always something going on. So if you're looking for an organization, or if you are in a company where they pay you to use your volunteer hours, think about think about contacting us. I put everyone on a volunteer list, and when we have things that are going on, I throw everything out there with a link of how to sign up, and you pick and choose what you want to sign up for. The other thing that we have on our website as well, on our donation page, which you're absolutely should go check out, because everything that I'm talking about is on there. Donating your time, donating your services, donating items that we have on our Amazon list that we put together comfort and joy kits with. We put together all sorts of things with that. We just got done. Alana from, I think it's Main Street, she's with eXp Realty. She did an entire supply drive for us, and we were able to put together about 140 different comfort and joy kits, with everything from a blanket that's donated to us from another organization who make beautiful blankets for us. So
please give them a shout out.
I don't know that
Yes.
they like to stay somewhat anonymous on their stuff, so I can't really give them one until I clear it with them, because I don't know that they want to be bum rushed by people. So we have a good relationship with them, and so I like to keep everybody's privacy.
Yeah,
let's
not ruin it. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, it's a blanket, and it's hot chocolate, and it's soup mixes, and it's hygiene products, and it's a little bit of everything to just kind of give them a little bit of something extra over the holiday season. In the spring, we do gardening kits for them, to get them outdoors and to get them doing their own gardening, indoor gardening or patio gardening, any of it, to help not only supplement their food, but to give them a healthier lifestyle by getting them outside, because a lot of them just are in isolation. A lot of times with COVID, it really exacerbated all of that. So giving to us can be in a lot of different forms. Like I said, you can go on our donate page on our website, and there's a lot of different ways for you to give back. If you have services that we could maybe use, from accounting help to whatever, and that's something that you want to donate, we're all about looking at services that we can utilize as well. So
we like I was saying earlier, this is such a great honor for us to be able to get to do this. I wanted to go on ahead and bring this up. This is your flyer, and well, that's not your flyer. How about we do this and I actually share it? That would be good. This is my first time doing this, so please.
Okay, you're doing a fabulous job, Zach.
Stephanie, can you please go on ahead and explain what we're looking at?
Okay, so that was a video that we recorded with the great the great Janet from Healing Warriors. As you saw, we did record that a couple months ago, and the reason I stopped it there is that flyer is no longer that QR code no longer works right for them. But one of the events that she was talking about is coming up this weekend. And once again, it is this 5K fun run right here in northern Colorado. It's in Fort Collins. Activities in the park will begin at 10:30 with snack, food trucks, music, vendors, and information. I know that one of the vendors, or two of the vendors, I guess we just became a superhero group called the Avengers. Oh, the Avengers, really? Anyway, two of the vendors are going to be there, and one of them is going to be Community Pay Up Forward, and one of them is going to be Steve Solis with Mountain Lion Entertainment. So you want to come by, you want to watch Steve do his balloon art, come and check this out. If you got little kids, please, 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 I beg you, come check it out, because it is beyond cool. This, look, I had Steve on last week, you guys, and he is just, he's super good at what he does. Okay, super good at what he does. I got to end the show, and unfortunately got to end it on some bad news.
And I just found out about this. And I hope that some of my friends in the California area see this and share this. We have a group of friends who works really, really hard to make changes, positive changes in people's lives. And they ended up having items stolen from them. A lot of tools. And this is horrible because the gentleman who runs this program he spends his days in service to our country. And somebody broke into an ambulance that was meant to become somebody's tiny home and stole his tools. Stephanie Samos, the goddess of the grave, she shared this with me, and I am going to share it with you. And after that, I'm going to let you go for the day. So, because I got to take that phone call, so here we go.
Just a real quick update. It's been a little while since I posted something new. We are still waiting on insurance to kind of get back to us about what's going on with the ambulance since someone broke into it, whether or not they're going to be able to pay for the damages to the vehicle, which that's pretty solid, yes. But then whether they'll also pay to replace the items that were stolen, we're not 100% sure. So we're kind of working our way through that. And I just wanted to let everybody know we're also running kind of a fundraiser right now here on Instagram and Facebook to kind of try to recoup the cost for those stolen items, because I'm pretty sure they're not going to pay for it with the insurance. And I do need those in order to run our events and be able to actually get the ambulance up and going sometimes. So I really appreciate it. If anybody can give a little bit, then go ahead and be able to click on the donation that's here in this video. So appreciate your time, and thanks for keeping up with us as we try to work our way through, what's going on with this. Not giving up, definitely going to keep working. A little bit setback, but definitely moving forward. Talk to y'all later. Bye.